How's it going? My name's Brock, and I take pictures. Some people tell me those pictures are pretty good. And I get a lot of questions from a lot of people that lead into what makes a good photo. So I thought I'd just break it down to the simplest form, because it can get really complicated, but I've broken it down into 5 parts. 5 parts, break it down, what makes a good photo. Step number 1, taking a good photo. Obviously, you're gonna need gear. Something has to take that photo. There are a lot of options for gear. Your phone. Phones take good pictures. It's a great place to start. If you don't know how good you can take a picture, start taking pictures with your phone. Phone works. Phones are good. Phones are fine. You could grab yourself a DSLR with some interchangeable lenses. That's what the pros use. That's what everybody pretty much uses nowadays, unless you're using film. That works too. You could even use this little point and shoot that I got my kids for Christmas. Now, this is generally good for a 4-year-old, but today we're gonna put it to the test. A camera could be as simple as a cardboard box with a hole in it. Google it. It's real. That's what a camera is. What I generally use is gonna be actually what he's shooting on right now. I have an R5. I've got, a plethora of lenses for different situations, but that's when you really know what you're doing. That's when you know how to take a good photo, what kind of photos you wanna take. So really, just pick a budget. Figure out how much money you've got to put in, what kind of commitment level you're looking at, and just settle on something. It can be as simple as a point and shoot. If it takes a picture, you can start with it. Once you've picked your camera, you've picked your picture-taking apparatus, you've got to understand that gear like the back of your hand. Because what's going to limit you when you get into the field and you start taking pictures is not knowing what you're doing. So before we get to step number 2, just go start like taking little pictures. How do I turn this thing on? It's got smudgy fingerprints all over it. Christmas candy, Look at this, I got an extensive menu here. I got camera mode, I got video mode, I got playback. Heck, this thing's even got some games on it. This camera doesn't have games. So now that you got your high score in Snake and you're familiar with your camera, we can move on to phase number 2. That is, pick a subject. You've been shooting a bunch of random things, but now it's time to decide, what do I want to take a good photo of? It's good to nail down a subject rather than just being at random, because now you can kind of organize yourself and make a good photo happen. It takes effort. How do you decide on a subject for photography? This world is full of things to take pictures of, is it not? You could take pictures of cows. I take pictures of cows. You can take pictures of your mom. You can take pictures of a rock. You can take pictures of your mom. You could take pictures of flowers. You could take pictures of trees. You could take pictures of wild animals. You could take pictures of your mom. You could take pictures of a rock. You could take pictures of ice cream, food. Food's a thing. You could take pictures of your mom. You could take pictures of clothing. You could take pictures of a worm. You could take pictures of your brother. You could take pictures of cars. You can take pictures of buildings. You can take pictures of landscapes. You can take pictures of anything. So, how do you narrow it down? I say, don't pick your subject off of what you think will make a good photo. Pick your subject off of something that you love. Because there's beauty in everything and you can get a good photo of anything. So the best way to get a good photo is to start by taking photos of something you care about. That's why I take pictures of your mom. Hey. So today we're gonna pick a subject. I like rocks. So let's go ahead and find ourselves a rock. It's a cool one. I'm not kidding, I do like rocks. Oh, that one's kind of speaking to me. Look at this rock. Oh. Boom, subject, chosen. So now we got our gear. Now we got our subject. And now it's time to move on to step 3. Light. Photography is an art form. And just like any other art form, it has a medium upon which you create that art. Sculptors have their squishy stuff. Painters have a canvas and paint. With photography, your medium is light. In the early days of photography, it literally was a box with a hole in it. You ever played RDR2, Red Dead Redemption? And you know in those little cutscenes and the loading screens, you got those black and whites that like, those are called tin types. They literally took a box and they had a tin with like acid or something on it, and when they let the light in, the light etched itself onto the tin. It's actually super dope, and a lot of cowboys had their pictures on tin types. You know, OG outlaw type things. Have scientists decided that light is waves or particles, or is it both?
Both.
It's both, okay. Then more recently, they started using something called film. It's a little strip of plastic that's reactive to the light. And depending on how long you expose it, and through what lenses you expose it, it captures said light. Today, we use something called a sensor. It is the same process. It is the same deal. It's just a little more techy. It's the future. You are an artist and your medium is light. Meaning, light is everything in your photo. Without light, you don't have a photo. It's really hard to explain. This is too deep. I gotta think.
It's getting serious.
Ugh. That hawk's pretty dope, actually. You see that thing? Now that we have our gear, we've chosen our subject, and we understand our medium. We get to one of the most crucial steps in taking a good photo, and that is composition. I would argue that this is the greatest differentiator between a good photo and a great photo. Composition. You can get a nice subject, great lighting, but if you have poor composition within your shot, it's gonna suck still. It's still gonna suck. Let's get back to our rock. We're almost there. We're almost to the end. The good photo is just within our reach. Composition is made up of a lot of key elements. What makes a good composition is really up to you, because every shot is a little bit different. But there are rules you can follow to help you get to that point. Things like the rule of thirds, leading lines. There are invisible shapes within your photo that can't be seen, but your subconscious understands them and can make it more pleasing to the eye. You want to get rid of things that are subconscious distractions. You need clarity in your subject so that when an individual looks at your photo, they immediately understand the story you're trying to tell. And that can be very easily lost just with the subtle angle of your camera, how low or high you are, whether a line in the background is crooked or not. These are things that you need to pay attention to, and as you get better at your photography, they will become apparent and you'll just see them. But it takes a lot of time and effort and learning to understand what a good photo looks like. Let's walk through our steps. Gear. Ready. Subject. Selected. Light. Bright. Composition. Now that's the question. Now I have strategically placed this rock on a contrasting larger rock. That'll allow for subject pop. If I choose a high point like this, it's not gonna take advantage of the backdrop and it's gonna feel more like a casual photo. What you wanna do is take a photo that seems like something you wouldn't normally see. Generally, a good default is getting down low. I wanna get a good base on this rock. Okay, all right, solid. We're gonna try to put some of these where the rock is in the left third so that I've got it off to the side, and then we've got the long dramatic shot of the valley. There is no option for manual exposure or settings on this camera. Oh my gosh, what that scared the crap out of me. I couldn't hear him until he was right behind me, bro. I thought you like slipped or something. Dude, what do you think he was thinking? Shutter speed seems a little slow. But that's okay. You can get a good picture with anything. All right, let's try another shot, different composition. It's good to test. Now, the thing is, sometimes it'll feel like a good composition initially, but it's good to try different angles of the same shot, different, you know, backlight, front light, whatever, because, you know, you don't know until you know, you know? Composition. I don't get it.
It's like there's opposition.
Oh, there's composition and all. I see. Okay. Yep. Composition and all things. All right. Huh?
You're starting to remind me of those guys out there on thin ice.
I'm on a rock.
Yeah, I know.
Also, I won't drown if I fall in.
That's true.
So, a little different. A little different. Example A. It's fine. The rock is there. The rock is still there. I'll be one of those bouncing guys.
That's risky, bro. Everything.
Listen, you got to risk it for the biscuit, man.
Right.
If you're not willing to risk everything for the shot, do you even deserve it?
Oh, shoot.
That was cool. That's composition. And now we're gonna see how that applies as we go into the fifth and final step to taking a good photo. Step number 5, editing. Now, there are some old fogies out there that'll tell you, oh, I don't edit my photos. The way I took them in the camera is the way they're meant to be seen. Now, there's something to be said for the purist point of view on editing. However, if you are not editing your photos, if you are not practicing editing your photos, if you are not proficient in editing your photos, you're kind of behind. Luckily, if we've done every step up until this point correctly, and the way we explained it, this part is actually very easy. It's not hard to edit, as long as you're starting with something already good. Going into your edit, I recommend using Lightroom. There's other apps out there. Use what works for you, but Lightroom is easy, it's efficient, and the Lightroom mobile is free. Pick a few photos, some of your favorites, sit down and improve. What you're here to do is enhance what is already there. That's it. You're not trying to make some crazy new thing. You've already got your photo. We're just going to make what's already great even greater. That's it. That's the goal. Stinky dinky dupe. This is a JPEG. I recommend, if your picture taking apparatus can shoot in a RAW format, use that. I don't mean a photo out of the camera unedited. I mean the file type RAW, RAW. It's a file type. Make sure you're shooting in it. It makes this part a lot more fun. But make sure that you're not going crazy with your sliders. That's a big thing with editing, is knowing where the line is. It's very easy for amateurs to go a little too far. I see it all the time. Somebody takes that saturation slider and they just wha-bam! Don't do that. It's not a good idea. Don't do that. The key is, and this is my philosophy with any edits, only go so far to where you can't tell you've done it, right? It like if I take the vignette and it's just really dark in those corners, it's gonna be obvious that I've done that. Now, again, this, just like all other aspects, is a personal decision. This is an art form. We've been over this. So you do what feels right. You do what you want to do. What I say is not the end-all be-all. This is just my perspective, my point of view. Like I said, some people tell me that they like my photos. This is not a Lightroom tutorial. I'm not going to go super into detail about my different aspects and editing settings and all of that. But get yourself a place to edit. Go in and enhance what is already there. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm really going to end it there for the most part. So I'm going to sit here, edit a little bit. We're going to export and get to the final product. So let me edit a bit. So now that we're done editing, we've taken out what we really want from this image. We're going to go ahead and export, and now we can take in the final product, the fruits of our labor here.